Hi.
Hello.
You're here.
That's right. Brad and Jeremy, you know us.
Yeah.
Well, is that egotistical to say?
It's
knew presumptuous.
Us. Your dad knew us.
Your grandparents knew us.
Your grandparents used to listen to us on the radio when they were growing up.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are here now on your screen, on your phone, on your laptop, on your TV, to present Family Happy Hour. This is something just for Idaho Falls.
That's right. The Idaho Falls Family Happy Hour is going to be a series. We're talking like 5 weeks. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of different stuff. Some of it you can even interact with us on or with, right?
At home.
At home, that's right. Wherever you are.
We're going to go around and experience new things. We'll get to be entertained. We'll be educated. There will be inspirational speakers. We'll have comedians. We're going to have...
artists?
Yeah.
Cooks? Chefs?
We'll be learning to draw or learning to cook, and you can do it along with us.
That's
something
right.
special because you know how it is. I mean, life has changed, and maybe some of the things that you went out to do for fun, maybe they're not available right now, or maybe you're trying to change the way that your entertainment looks. This is going to be something just for Idaho Falls, and you can enjoy it with the whole family every single week.
All I know is over the past couple of weeks, my wife and I have literally had this conversation. What's one thing that we can do for 30 minutes every day that's completely different?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, than what we've done before. And it's just something that we're like, all right, we're kind of getting bored with the same thing every single day. And we've all been experiencing that over the past year, right? So this will be something refreshing, something new, something for you and your family to look forward to every single week. And we're looking forward to it as well.
And you know what? We would love to hear right now from Dr. Matt Larson, too, with a mental health minute, because life has changed. And so what do people need to keep in mind these days?
Well, it's changed a ton. And people need to keep in mind, we're really good at managing stress that we've learned over decades.
Right.
I mean, I'm nearly 40. I've had almost 40 years to learn this is how I manage my day, my stress, my kids in the morning, my work day, my coworkers, my patients. I'm really good an hour in the morning with my family, about 4 hours at night.
Yeah, that sounds pretty
right.
normal.
Yeah, that's what we're all used
suddenly
to.
Work gets canceled and I'm home 14 hours awake with my kids. I'm not good as a dad for 14 hours. Vacation, sure. Saturday, Sunday, I can manage.
Again, something you've been used to.
Right, 7 days a week, all day, every day. We're not good with people that long. Imagine if you had to work 7 days a week, 8 hours a day forever. Some of you probably do.
So you're here to make me be good for 14 hours, right?
I'm here to help you not hate yourself or berate yourself or be mean to yourself for not being good.
Okay. And you'll have like tips and stuff that you'll hook us up with?
Yes, we're going to come in every week with things you can do to get through isolation, things to do with your family, how to manage. That's what this hour is. Something different, a break, entertainment. Give yourselves, your spouses, your kids, your parents a break that they're not good with the change.
Right.
We were thrown this, we didn't expect it. There were shutdowns, there were quarantines, there's kids home from school, online learning, teachers who are amazing in person, trying to learn a new platform. Parents who are really
inventing a new platform in some cases,
Exactly.
Designing a new platform.
Yes. So my minute this week is just give yourselves a break. No one's good at this. None of us expected it, none of us wanted it, and we're living through it. It's kind of like Idaho with snow. It's here. Yeah. You can enjoy it or you can complain about it. It's here.
We need to learn how to deal with it.
Exactly.
So cut yourself some slack. Of course you want to cut other people some slack, but especially start with yourself.
Exactly.
I love it.
Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be nice to your family. None of us are good at this.
Very good. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
Good to see you. Yep, there you go. Elbow bump. I'll take one too. Yeah.
There
Boom.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So now, guess what? It's time for the entertainment. And this week it is stand-up comedy. And this guy has opened for Aziz Ansari. He opened for Sarah Silverman. And you will enjoy it. And it's something that the whole family can sit and watch together and laugh together.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Idaho Falls Family Fun Hour. That's right, we're calling it that. This is the very first one of these we've done, and we are so excited to be part of it. And we got some stand-up comedians for you guys. There you go. Laughter, best medicine. We don't even need the vaccine. Just kidding, we do, but we are here to make you laugh and have some fun. So, without further ado and bad jokes about vaccines, we're going to bring to the stage the very funny first comedian tonight. Put your hands together for Spence Roper.
Oh my goodness, that's Thank you so much for that. I can hear you, and don't be frightened. My hearing is very good. I'm not a god, or I mean, I'm just a person who's excited to be in your home right now. You know, it's this is all one take, and I'll admit, if I could take that back, like maybe I would. Some of it didn't come off how I wanted it to, but we already made a vaccine joke, so it's fine. Uh, it's like Steve said, or the voice you couldn't see. That was Steve. That's what you're in for. You're in for a real treat, by the way. Steve said, "My name is Spence. That is my name. It's not Spencer. I want to introduce myself properly. Use my real actual name. It is just Spence. And I'm not even saying that because I'm trying to be like more interesting. Like I'm not trying to seem like I'm not trying to co-opt anyone else's struggle and make it my own so that I'm a funner person. Like I'm not telling you that like I was born a Spencer, but now I identify as Spence. Like that's not what's happening here. Like I'm not transitioning from a Spencer to a Spence right now. Like I would never do that. Like it seems like inconsiderate. Like I was born this way. Like I came out and my parents were looking at me and they're like, "Whoa, look at him. He looks just like a Spence." Probably just Spence. I don't really see him writing the whole thing out. And so that's what they did. They named me just Spence. They wanted that to be one of my battles in life, being just Spence instead of Spencer. They did make my middle initial R, though, just to make it super confusing. Like, I guess they just wanted to mess up any special occasion I might be a part of, make sure that at least some of it was awkward. And that's worked. That's worked. Like, I was getting married this one time, and like the guy marrying us was like, "Spencer, do you take this woman?" So I had to stop him. I had to interrupt my own wedding to be like, "Sorry, but actually, it's just Spence." And then he got all miffed. Like I just jumped in to tell him, "Hey, you know, my friends call me Cooter," and like now he decides this is gonna be like this teachable moment. He's like, "Well, Spencer, when it is a special occasion, we like to use your full name." So I was like, "Okay, well, I guess probably the one I said. Let's use that one." And that made him even more angry. Now he's looking over at my parents like he's expecting them to like come over and spank me for being insolent on my wedding day. But they're just like, "Whoa, we did name him that. We're very silly." And he was like, "Huh, well, that's stupid." And then he married us. And you know what? It didn't work out. And I feel like probably his fault. You can't run around marrying people with a bad attitude like that. Like, what did he think was going to happen? If he's like, "Spence, you may now kiss the bride and my butt." Like, that's not till death do us part. That one's going to end. That's going to end prematurely, and I accept no responsibility for it. I realize we're in a weird time right now, and I'm not trying to ignore any of it. In fact, it's so weird that it's made me weird. I'm a person now because of coronavirus. It's turned me into a weirdo. Whereas before, I was a super cool normal guy, and I'm someone like, you know what? If I take off a pair of socks, they don't go back on. I don't put socks on again after I've taken them off. I mean, like I'll wash them and put them on. I'm just saying, this guy doesn't wear dirty socks, not ever. I mean, like, I guess I wear them, but it's because they got dirty throughout the course of being worn. Then I take them off. I don't put. All I'm trying to say, if I put socks on, take them off, I don't put them back on. I put on new clean socks. But in coronavirus times, now suddenly, like, I'll find myself sitting in a grocery store parking lot, looking around. Like, it used to be I'd be like looking for like loose change because I would forget my wallet, and now I need to get some milk and there's no wallet, and I don't want to go home and say I forgot my wallet because there are people who will make fun of me and make me feel bad for forgetting things like my wallet. So I, looking for some change, hoping I can like buy maybe a gallon. It might be a quart, but at least I'll have some milk when I get home. But no, I've now replaced loose change with masks. Now I want to go into a store. I forgot a mask. I'm looking for a mask. Like, loose change is the new mask for me. And I'm looking for a mask in my car, and like nothing. Till finally, here's a mask. Like, it's under the seat of my car. Like, it's got like a muddy footprint on it and a smashed Cheeto. And you know what? I grab it and I put it over my face so that I can protect myself from germs. Like, that's what I do. Like, and then I go in and I get my gallon of milk and bananas. And I realize like, there are people who are like, you could just go in without a mask. Yeah, like, I know that I could, but if I do that, then like I have to like deal with everyone who's like, hey, meeting to overthrow the government tonight at 9. And I'm like, it's 9:00 on a school night. You know what? I don't think I can make it. Also, I don't want to do that. So, I guess I'll just see. I should have worn a mask. Like, I wear masks to avoid conversations I don't want to have. That's, and also the disease thing. I think that's important. But yeah. The whole time, I'm just so glad my feet can't see what I've been doing with my mouth lately, because they'd be like, well, that's way gross. But it's clean socks, remember? And, it's confusing. I'm glad my feet can't talk. You know what? I may have been weird before coronavirus. I'm thinking about that now. It's possible. It's possible that I was. I'm not from Idaho Falls originally or currently. But now it's mostly out of jealousy. I'm from somewhere that's almost exactly the same as Idaho Falls, but without a BMW dealership or a Target. We're aspiring for Idaho Falls. That's what we'd like to be. But it does mean that I'm on the road a bit, and I see billboards from time to time, and there's one that I have been entertained by. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's up there, and it's sheep. There's a bunch of sheep, and on the billboard it says, "We are individuals. We're not wool. Buy vegan." And I saw that, and I thought to myself, I didn't know sheep could talk. And then I thought, why are they telling us this of all the things? I mean, it's first off like sheep saying, we're individuals. I'm like, okay, I guess that's actually a good thing to point out, because that's not what I'd heard at all. And I'd heard you guys that wasn't like your strong quality sheep. But then say the next thing that they want to say is that we're not wool. I thought that was an interesting choice, because I know that if I were a sheep, like, probably the first message I would communicate to the people that I could now talk to would be, stop eating our children, please. And not like, hey, I was thinking I'd like to grow my hair out. Like, I wanted to see how a ponytail looked, but you guys just keep making itchy sweaters, and it's really frustrating. All I'm saying is that I actually don't think sheep can talk, and I think vegans told a little fib. And I don't have anything against vegans. I think it's great how hard they're trying. I love that. I should try harder. I should. But I'm like I couldn't be a vegan. I couldn't do it because I don't like telling people that what they're doing is bad. It's like I just want to live my life most of the time. Like I could never get upset at someone for eating honey. Like, hey, stop eating that honey. Stop it. Did you know that 1 teaspoon of honey represents the life's work of 16 bees, their whole lives for that 1 teaspoon? So are you just gonna eat that? And I mean, I would say yeah. I think I still am. I'm sorry. Like, look, I sprayed death foam on like 1 million wasps, like 10 different times, like just a few months ago. I'm not your guy, vegans. I'm sorry. Like I'm not, and I'm not 100% sure that we aren't doing bees a huge favor. Like I think I just picture there's a bunch of bees, there's 16 bees just sitting there. And one of them's like, well, guys, I guess this is it for us, the end of the road. Now we die and go meet Beezus. And they're looking around and they see this 1 teaspoon of honey. And like, I guess it was all just for this. It almost seems like maybe it wasn't worth it. Like I never saw France, and that's when I would show up and be like, "Oh, hey bees, were you gonna use this 1 teaspoon of honey?" And they're like, "No, we're about to die." And I'd be like, "Would you mind if I used it?" And they would all say, "That would be amazing," because we were just starting to think that it was all for nothing. And so now if you take this 1 teaspoon of honey, you will have given our lives meaning. And like, I am happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. I'm like, yes, thank you, 16 bees. You have made it so that like my malto meal can now taste like a little bit better. Frankly, I'm going to need like the life's work of like 200 bees to really get where I need to be. But all I'm saying is that I appreciate what you've done, and I hope you can feel fulfilled now thanks to me. So I guess I'm pro honey. I'm pro honey. That's what I'm saying. I'm just so happy to be part of this Idaho Falls Family Fun Hour, because you know what? Families are fun. The coronavirus has taught us that there's no amount of time that you can spend with your family that isn't too much. I do think that this is a good time to bring up the plight of the stay-at-home dad. I think that is the family figure that gets the most maligned. And I realize now, like, we're like, hey, you know what? We should, this is great what they're doing, but I still think that you say stay-at-home dad and people are like, ooh, I don't know about this. This guy makes me nervous. Like, but I'll say this, you know what? I was a stay-at-home dad. And that was one of the most fulfilling, productive times in my life until we had kids. And then I was like, okay, I am going to need to find a job immediately because I do not care for this. And it's not that I don't think kids are wonderful. I just think that they're wonderful for a few hours at a time, and then you need a little break, and then you come back to them. And look, I love my kids unconditionally when they're asleep, and then when they're awake, it's like a coin toss. Sometimes they're great, and sometimes, you know what, they could be better. And that's all I want. That's all I'm trying to say here is that kids, be better for your parents so that you're easier to love. And I'm sorry if your parents don't love you, but it's probably something that you did. It's your fault. I'd like to thank the mayor of Idaho Falls for allowing me to bring that message to your homes. And I will say this: I actually I want to leave you with something constructive, positive, and I have a college degree. I have a degree from Utah State University. It's go Aggies, if you're wondering. Yes, we get crushed by Boise State regularly, and it does hurt, but it's at least you're consistently good. It's not like losing to BYU, which is super embarrassing because they're so hit and miss. But yeah, I got a degree. I got a degree in exercise science. So now I'm a part-time bus driver. It's my degree has done a lot of things for me. It's opened a lot of doors, and they're mostly bus doors. Technically, it's not even my degree that opens it. It's my arm. There's a lever that I pull. But the point is, yeah, I do have a degree, and as a part-time bus driver, there are some things being sung about the bus that I would like to address. First thing, the wheels on the bus do go round and round. That is 100% true. That is exactly what they do. The wipers on the bus do not go swish, swish, swish. It's more like a conk, squeak, conk, squeak. So, that's inaccurate. The driver on the bus does not say, move on back. That is discrimination, and you cannot say that to the other bus passengers. Not that those are grounds for immediate termination. Like, I don't know how old that song is specifically, but I'm thinking it's probably pretty old because some of it's starting to feel a little Confederate flaggy. And it's time for an update. It's time for an update. We need to get a current for 2020. Like for 2021, like now it should say the driver on the bus says, I should not have gotten an exercise science degree. I probably should have talked to some people first, seen what the doctors were doing. Like, what are they doing? Also, they need to add some verses, I think, to more accurately represent the bus. The smell on the bus is maybe pee. That's for sure some of it. Like there's still some ingredients we need to pin down though. But let's get current. And just want to say thanks, Idaho Falls. I think that is going to be it for me. You've been great. Like I said, I really enjoyed being in your homes. And if I could just use your bathroom, just carry your TV in there. And it's a cool trick that never mind. They said that they're not going to be editing this. So I guess now we'll see if that's true. And now it is my distinct privilege to bring up my very good friend who's also very funny. He's mostly funny. He doesn't even like me. But put your hands together for Mr. Steve Soelberg.
Thank you. Thank you. We got this is still a thing, huh? We're still doing this where I get to talk to a camera. Not there's a few people. We got the sound guy and Jake with the Downtown Event Center. Good to see you. But it's been good, right? It's a good pandemic, right? It's hard to say. I mean, this is my first pandemic. I really don't have that many other to compare it to, but so far it's a pretty good one, I guess. I don't know. It's a scary time a little bit. There's some times where you go, I don't like it. I don't know if a weighted blanket is going to be enough to calm me down. I'm a little bit anxious about this. That's what last time I did this show with you guys at the deck, it was April. And I said, "Yeah, let's do a live stream show. Who knows how long we'll be able to do this? Maybe I won't be doing the rest of my shows to a camera." And I still am. And there's part of me that doesn't like it. The part that likes hearing laughs, but there's also part of me that loves it because it's like it's very casual. It's kind of neat. It's like technically a lot of you work from home now, and you haven't had to wear pants in months, and that's kind of fun to just be like, who cares? They don't know from here down. That was a game that we used to play, me and my brothers at church, because my dad would be sitting up here on the stand, and we decided that you could do whatever you wanted to your brother from here down because they can't see. You can't get in trouble if they can't see. I don't know that that's a true rule, but it's the one we lived by. I think there's part of me that has had just the part of the pandemic that's been fun is that it's still going. Because I gotta admit, I was raised to have things come a little quicker, and so it's hard for a generation, and even the younger generation, where things are even faster. Me, I was excited about microwaves. I was like, that cooks macaroni and cheese so fast, it's insane. But yeah, now stuff, you want it, it's immediate. And so it feels like we're on to the point of the pandemic where the news is like, it's still here. It's still here. And we're like, actually, we finished it early. We're all done. Yeah, we finished it a couple weeks ago. So next thing, let's do the next thing. But we're still talking about it. Like when you think about how long this has gone on, think about Tiger King. Remember that? That was years ago. It feels like, and we all watched it, and we all said it was good, even though it wasn't. It was awful. But that was years ago. And that's what the news would talk about. They would tell you silly things. They were like, look at this guy with the mullet and tigers, and look at all this stuff and all these scary numbers of the pandemic and everything on the news, scary violence and riots and it's real stuff that we need to be concerned about. But I have to admit that there was part of the news that I wanted to hear about that was different. What I wanted to hear the news tell me was that now there's going to be arrows on the floor guiding every step of your life. There's no news on that. Nobody covered that. They just showed up one day. You'd go in the grocery store and it was like, whoa, there's rules on the floor now. There's rules on. What do I do? And I mean, it wasn't that big of a question. You just follow the arrows, really. And I just followed the floor rules. Apparently, I'm very quick to snap into line. Just put arrows on the floor, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I'm a gerbil now. I just go through the little maze, and I'll do whatever you tell me to, and I'm happy. But it's hard because I have to admit, when they first showed up, you'd go to an aisle, and there'd be an arrow pointing at you. And you'd be like, but I just want the peanut butter right there. I could touch it. I just want it. And then be like, don't go down that aisle. Don't go down. But if you want that peanut butter that's right there, just go down the other aisle. Just go all the way down to the end by the milk and come on back. Just follow the little maze and come on right back. And then you can get it. You can be 2 feet from where you were right now, and then it's safe for you to get it. Because if you were to just, go like this, COVID, it'd be like, I gotcha. And you don't want to get it. You don't want to get it. So I usually follow the floor rules because I want to not get COVID and I want to keep the rules that are for us. But sometimes I'd go into the grocery store aisle and I'm following the arrow, but there's somebody in the aisle coming towards me. They're not following the arrow at all. And you get this weird standoff, like right away, just you and them, just, ooh, who gets to have this aisle? And it's like this standoff situation. You both round up your shoulders and you hear Western music in the back of your mind, like that standoff music that's like, and it's even more Western because you're both in bandanas and just looking at each other. And you're like, there ain't 6 feet enough for the both of us. right? And then you go, who gets the aisle? And it's whoever's quickest on the draw, right? Whoever can be like, the fastest, that person gets the aisle. If you're, and they're like, oh, you get it this time, COVID. You can have that. That joke would be true if I had the courage to actually cough in public during the pandemic. Isn't that the worst? I know at this point, all of you had to cough in public during the pandemic because not every cough in your life is associated with this horrible, horrible virus. Sometimes I swallowed weird. I just swallowed weird. Don't you? And it feels stupid trying to explain it to people. Like my epiglottis, you know how sometimes with the air and the wind and sometimes esophagus, and they're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, I don't believe you. You know, they just look at you. If you cough in public right now, they're just like, you're the reason. You're the reason. We wouldn't be on lockdown still if you could just stay inside. And you're like, I didn't know how to swallow. I was so embarrassed. I went out to eat. I don't know if this is allowed where you guys live, but I went to Chili's. I was allowed to go to Chili's. We separated from everyone else, and I ate a chip. I'm living that life where I order the queso, and I ate a chip. Immediately got lodged in my throat, and I was like, oh, I got a cough. And they could tell. They're like, do you have to cough? No, no. And they're like, please, just cough. If you have to cough, you could cough. It's fine. I wouldn't dare. No, not in the 2020 pandemic. Not a chance. And they're like, well, and I was like, just, can I die? I'll just die right here. Is that okay if I die? It seems safer if I just die in your establishment. And I died right there. And then people would be stepping over my body and they'd be like, what'd he die of? And they were like, it was COVID, I believe. So I don't know. We'll see. I made it through it. Knock on stool. Can you see the stool? Is that in the shot? This is so funny because every show, like, I love to interact with the audience and stuff like that. And so when you sort of don't feel that connection, it feels bizarre. So a lot of times I'll end up doing Zoom shows, you know, for company parties or whatever. And you do the Zoom show, but I did a Zoom show that was really fun because you can expand your sort of audience with that, right? And so I ended up doing a virtual show that was in London, Italy, and Abu Dhabi, and Idaho Falls. That's not true. Idaho Falls. I don't know why you weren't there. You should have been there. I should have invited you. It's my bad. It's really my fault. It worked out because my brother lives in Abu Dhabi. I'm not as internationally known as you would think. Some of you at home are like, I have no idea who you are. You look like a weird Mark Wahlberg mixed with Kevin Bacon. And that's not my fault. It's my parents. But I had somebody come up to me one time, a stranger goes, hey man, no offense. And I was like, oh, what compliment do you have for me? And he's like, no offense, but you look like Mark Wahlberg. And I was like, oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you. And he's like if he never worked out. And I was like, oh, okay. Thanks, Mr. No Offense. Why couldn't you keep the last part to yourself? But so I did a show, right? London, Italy, Abu Dhabi, where Garfield used to send Odie, if you remember. Fantastic, fun time to talk to these people from around the world. But I have this problem because I ended up talking to the Londoners after the show. And I have to admit that I love the London accent. It's something about it is fun. And I do have this problem, though, that anytime I'm talking to someone with an accent, this little thing in the back of my brain goes, do it. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't do that. And it's like, do it. Talk like they do. Do an impression of them in front of their face. Like, they will love it. And no, they do not. They don't love it. It's rude. But I can't help myself, you know? They were just talking. I was talking to these two little girls, and they were like, so in the US, do you guys all have COVID? And I was like, oh, maybe a little bit. Like, I didn't know what to say. It was just so fun. Do you have corona? I was like, I hope so. The way you say it's so fun, you know. But they didn't, you don't want to hope for it, but it's just what you do, right? Your mirror neurons, I guess is what they call them. I walked into a store one time and the greeter guy goes, hello. Who the heck says hello? I mean, this is in the US, so hello. So Parrot Brand goes, hello. And he's like, fantastic, where you from? Seattle. He's like, you don't talk like you're from Seattle. I was like, no, I don't. And he didn't understand that. So he went, what? And I was like, what? Like, I didn't know how to get around stopping this. I was like, show me the trousers. Let's go see your trousers. Like, I didn't know what to say. Eventually, I had to say, I'm sorry I'm doing this. I don't know why I'm doing it. I talk like this. This is how I talk. To be fair, you started first and you're the weird one. And that was what I figured I'd tell him. I do try to figure out why we have this like weird desire to mimic people, and then also why are accents such a thing. Like, if you learn how to speak, why do you have to speak with a different way, you know? And some people say, oh, it's because it's where you're from, it's your regional, and it's no, it is some of that, I'm sure. But why does it stick around, right? If you grow up in Australia, but then you move to the US, you keep that cool Australian accent. You're not going to be like switching over and be like, there's a fire. There's a fire. They'll be like, that sounds dumb. They'll be like, there's a fire. And they're like, oh, yeah, that sounds cool. Like, it's just whatever. I don't know why some accents are cool and some aren't. That's not my choice. I think all accents are cool, right? Whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to be friendly to, if you're listening and you have an accent that people think aren't favorable, I think it's rad. It's their thing. It's not my thing. But here's the thing. Here's why I think we all have different accents. I'm looking around because I want to use a prop for this. I'll use the stool. No, I'll use the mic. I'll use the obvious thing in my hand. This is why I think accents persist, is because your tongue, it's the last line of speaking, right? Air goes over the diaphragm, hits the vocal cords, they go blah, 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 and then it goes to your tongue, and your tongue goes blah, 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 and that determines what you're saying, right? Makes your words make some sort of sense. But your tongue has a mind of its own. The reason I know this is because I have a permanent retainer in my mouth. And what it is it's a little metal bar that Dr. Peyton put in my mouth when I got my braces off, because he didn't believe me when I said I would wear my retainer. He said, no, this one won't. Cement a metal bar. And there it sits. I don't know if you can see it from there. It's a shiny little metal bar. It's still in my mouth. It'll probably be in my mouth the rest of my life. But the second it went into my mouth, my tongue was just like, did you know this is here? Did you know this is here? Did you see this? Did you see this? It's a little metal bar. It's a little metal bar. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You going to get 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 it? And it couldn't stop touching it. I don't know how loud and annoying that was on the sound. We'll see. We'll see later, but it just wouldn't stop. My tongue touched the stupid metal bar so much that it was like, we're bleeding now. We're bleeding. It hurts. It hurts to touch it. It hurts when I do this. It hurts when I do this. It hurts when I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding all over the place. What's wrong with you? Your blood tastes like screws. And I just couldn't stop touching it. Why wouldn't I not stop touching it? Whether or not you have a permanent retainer, you've had a piece of corn or a tortilla chip. Maybe you go to Chili's. You've had something, free commercial. There you go. You guys can pay me later. Maybe you've had those stuck in your teeth, right? And you're on a date and your tongue's like, I got it. I got it. I'll get it. I'll get it. And you're like, tongue, well, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it. And the whole date, you're just like, So, do you come from a large family? You're stupid, looking like an idiot. Like, what are you thinking? Your brain's like, stop. But your tongue's like, she'll think we're resourceful. And you can't stop, Mr. Mind of its own. So this is my theory on why we have lots of different accents. Your tongue, it's got a mind of its own. It'll choose. The weirdest part about that joke, by the way, is that we all know what screws taste like, right? That just out of nowhere. This would make sense if we were all carpenters and we all had screws in our mouths in between nailing it. You'd be like, I got to keep them in my mouth right there. No, we're just regular people who at some point had screws in our hand and went, I just wanted to taste them. I'm 5 years old inside. Everything goes in my mouth. Or is that 2 years old? I think that'd be 2 years old. We'll change it in post. There's going to be no post. But anyways, what are we talking about? Screws? It's been a good pandemic. I don't know. I guess it's just been It's been tough in some ways, good in others. Now we're going to have a generation that's going to be very interesting because they've all been homeschooled, and that'll be fun. Because I had some homeschool friends growing up, and I think it's okay to say they're a little different. They would always come out with fun facts. We had a friend named Sean who would give us homeschool facts. And he'd be like, well, when the Eskimos landed on the moon, that was back in 36. And you'd be like, what? What are you talking about? The Eskimos, they were the first on the moon. I am not familiar. But, his mom told him in homeschool, so who would deny it? It's got to be true. So I'm excited to see this group hit the workforce. It'll be unique. We'll get lots of cool stories and lots of fun homeschool facts. To be fair, the wealthiest guy I know was homeschooled. So I don't know. Maybe I think it's because he had no beatdowns that we all are so used to. Like we all just sort of pick on each other. Like he didn't have that. He had crazy self-confidence. He would just go places and be like, I deserve this. I have self-confidence because I was never told that I was a crappy kid, which we were all told as little kids. But you guys are great kids. You're all homeschooled and you're all great. You're all going to have self-confidence through the roof because you're not picking on each other and bullying each other. And so maybe this next generation will be amazing. That's fingers crossed. Fingers crossed because we need it. If I'm honest right now, I think people are acting a little crazy. So we could use some goodness from you guys. I don't know. I've been doing lots of weird things to relax during the pandemic. I shouldn't say weird things, but you just do what you can to relax during this whole time. So I live in Utah now. I was from Seattle. I know I mentioned that earlier. Grew up in Seattle, but I live in Utah now. It's kind of a weird switch to go from Seattle to Utah because, first off, people in Seattle call it rain. We call it the rain. And I've learned in Utah and Idaho, it's always called the moisture. And it's a little weird that anytime it rains, you guys, we needed the moisture. Did you see it? We needed moisture. Moisture, we're thankful for the moisture. And you go, moisture? Why are you calling it that? Why the moisture? People don't like the word moist. I'm saying it now, and some of you are cringing. You're like, please don't say moist. And moist. But I don't mind it because here's the thing. How are you going to describe a good cake? You're going to describe a good cake without that M word? You're going to be like, this cake was super damp. I love this damp cake. It's really soggy. It's like a puddle. It's my favorite. What a delicious puddle you've given me of chocolate. Thank you. Thank you for the chocolate puddle cake. But, so I distracted myself with that. I live in Utah now. And when Utah opened up, they said, yeah, you can go to places, just still social distance and stuff like that. Well, I have a friend who's a massage therapist, and I decided I would go and visit my massage therapist friend. I knew that she had been social distance, whatever. I don't need to explain myself to you. I went and got a massage from a massage therapist, which is the right way to call him that. You can't call him a masseuse, which is a bummer because it's a more fun word. Masseuse has U's and S's like Dr. Seuss wants it to be. And in my mind, a masseuse would work at their craft, and eventually they'd get a doctorate. And you could go and visit Dr. Masseuse. And that would be fantastic to have Dr. Masseuse be like, could you get up on this table? Try it if you were able. Well, relaxation for you is key, but first, you must undress for me. Whoa, that's the weird part of the massage, is they say it so casually. They're just like, okay, just get undressed and I'll be right back. And then they shut the door and they leave for too long. I mean, let's be clear. They say get undressed and you do that lightning fast because you don't want to get undressed or only be halfway and then have them be like, well, we're ready for the massage. And you're like, not me, not yet. You know, you don't want to get caught getting changed. So you find yourself getting undressed super fast. But then you're in a room by yourself without your clothes on. And you're standing there going, did I hear them right? Did they say get undressed? Am I crazy? And they're going to think that I went too far. And so then I start panicking. And I'm like, you went too far. You should put clothes back on. I put my socks back on. I put my belt on. I'm like, I'm ready. Like, I didn't know what to do. And they explain nothing. Ugh. They come back in the room. And she's like, oh, you're supposed to be in between the sheets. And you're like, what? I wasn't waiting on top? Just like, hi there. They don't want that. They want you in between the sheets, face down, which who goes to bed and lays face down? None of you are going to be like, oh, I'm going to lay here on my face. No, you're going to lay face up. But they have you lay face down with your head in what looks like a toilet lid for a gnome. Just the last place you would think to put your face. You see that table and you're like, I think my head will go. And they're like, in the toilet. You put your face in the toilet. And you do, and it's weirdly relaxing. And then they're going to start the massage. So they ask you very politely, what pressure level would you like? And you say, like 15 PSI, I guess. I don't know. Like, what do you mean? I didn't know what to say, so I said to him, medium. Touch me medium, please. It's how I like salsa. Maybe it's how I like massages. I have no idea. And she starts touching me medium, and I found myself immediately saying, mild, touch me mild. You guys serve a very spicy medium. I wasn't ready for that. Muy less picante on your touch, please. And she's touching me a little softer, but the whole time I find myself being like a little softer, even softer than that, even softer, like a ketchup on the scale of spicy. I just need it like a tomato sauce. Do you know what I'm talking about? Just like almost 10 PSI maybe. I didn't want to admit that what was really happening is that I was ticklish. And you sound like, for some reason, stupid admitting that you're ticklish. So I just fought it off. I was just like gritting and like grabbing the table, biting into the toilet lid. My toes, for no reason, start going like this. It's like, what are you doing, toes? And they're like, getting rid of tickles. No, you're not. You look like a tiny dog being held over a bathtub. Just, if we drop, we swim. We're ready. We're ready. Eventually, I didn't do well. I had to yell out. I said, quit touching me. And she's like, oh, what? Okay. What do you want me to do? We have a half hour left. Just rub all around my body without touching me. Just rub my aura while you and me listen to Enya together. Just us, just going, who can say where to love it all? You know the Enya song. She has two of them, right? She has that one and sail away, sail away, sail away. She sold that one from Styx, by the way. But as far as I know, she has the two songs, multimillionaire. Did well with it. I don't know the lyrics to either one of them, other than sail away, but that's mostly because of Styx and Adam Sandler movies. But I had a kid, I was doing the show one time, and the kid knew the words and was excited about it for some reason. He said, I know them. Okay, teach me. And he goes, okay, without hesitation. Who can say where the road goes, whether it knows? I was like, that's it. How do you even know that? And he was like, my mom is a massage therapist. And I was like, oh, that explains it. That explains it quite well. I'm always intrigued at how much music is part of every spot in our lives. Look, we're at a spot right now. What is it? We're in January, beginning of January, where some people are still listening to Christmas music, and we call those people weirdos. But actually, I don't judge. You listen to Christmas music whenever you want. We put these weird rules on when people can listen to Christmas music or not. We say after Thanksgiving, that is when it's acceptable. And if you listen to it before, it's heresy of the worst degree. Nah, whatever. There's not rules with other music. We're not like, you can listen to country music if you're near a tractor. Like, there's no, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, now we're in this part where it's like, maybe you can still listen to Christmas music. My friends, they were having a baby, and they wanted to put together a playlist to listen to while they were having a baby. I didn't know that was a thing, but whatever, use music for whatever you need it to be. Your road trip, your birthing playlist. And I didn't know what you listen to on a birthing playlist. Is it like soft, calming music? Is it your Enya stuff where it's just like, have a baby, have a baby, have a baby, like very calm? Or is it going to be like your workout playlist where it's just like the hardcore heavy stuff where it's just like, let the babies hit the floor, let the babies hit the, and you're like, that's probably not what we should listen to. Let's just do something calmer. And I realized something. When talking to them about what they were going to put on their birthing playlist, I was like, guys, you don't need a playlist. You need a DJ, right? Wouldn't that be fantastic? You show up in the birthing suite and there's DJ Doula, just in the corner, just, bam, 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 who's ready to have a baby today? Get you all pumped up. Be like, throw your legs in the air. It'd be perfect for having birth, right? You'd be like, okay, here we go. Let's work on your breathing. And you'd be like, that's right, it's Lamaze. And it's just like, he's perfect. DJs have been trained for this. He's like, we got another contraction. I want to hear you scream. That's what DJs do. They know exactly how to do all this stuff. And it's like those EDM songs when you don't know when the bass is going to drop. You don't know when the baby's going to be born. It's just building, just like 3, 2, 1. No baby. DJ, what do you got? Baby, baby, baby. Oh, baby, baby, baby. No. Okay. 3, 2, 1, baby. Why not? Why not, Doc? What's wrong? And you'd be like, the baby's breech. DJ, turn around. Every now and then you try to go feet first, but it's a head first situation. So turn around. Baby, I turn around because it knows that song. Baby's born. Salt and pepper. Baby, 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 baby. I don't know if it's going to be a job, but DJ Doula, I'm going to try to have that job if comedy doesn't work out. We'll see how long pandemics last. I was told that they would wrap up soon. But I don't know if that's true. We'll see. So if not, maybe have me as DJ Doula. You can hire me. I know a lot of fun songs. Most of it's Salt and Pepper. Just push it, right? That's obviously for DJ Doula. Just makes sense. Makes sense to me. I don't know. There's been a lot of weird jobs that I've had in my lifetime. This job, I didn't plan on this job. This is an unanticipated job. Like, I studied biology in college. I thought I would go to medical school, right, and become a narcissist, sorry, doctors, you guys are great. I'm a narcissist for this job. Let's be honest. I have a camera and I'm talking to it like you're real. I know you're not. Are you? You're real. It does beg the question: how do you end up doing this when you plan on doing that? And you go back to your childhood. And Idaho Falls, I think some of you can relate to this because I imagine some of us had similar upbringings. Because we would go to church every Sunday. And I noticed that church was different. Once a month, church wasn't church anymore. Church became open mic. And we just have like this open mic Sunday situation. I think that there's some of you who've been to a few open mic Sundays. And honestly, whether you have been or not, here's how it goes. Open mic Sunday, it's like any other open mic where you have fabulously talented, amazing people in the audience who are there. And the person who would normally speak, they're just like, I'm not going to speak today. Let's just hear from these fabulously talented, amazing people. And that's a beautiful concept, but you never hear from those people because they do not get up to speak. No. Open mic Sunday, it's always like somebody who was up late the night before just eating cheese, stuffing their face with cheese, and then they went to bed on a belly full of cheese and had a dream. And they were like, oh my gosh, I got to share that dream at Open Mic Sunday. And it's like the craziest thing you've ever heard. And you're like, what is that? Oh my goodness, what is he talking about? All these things that he learned from cheeses. And you're like, you're saying it wrong. That's not how it's pronounced. But it's the craziest thing you've ever heard. And it's always fun to go to Open Mic Sunday and hear these crazy things. And I'm a kid in church. Remember, kids in church, for the most part, I was not sitting there going, I hope I hear something holy today. No, I was a kid. I was like, come on, weirdos. I hope I hear from some weirdos today. And I always did. And I was like, this is fantastic. I want to do that professionally. And that's how I became a stand-up comedian, I think. Just watching the weirdos at Open Mic Sunday get up and say the crazy things that I was like, that's for me. And so here I am. It was always my favorite Sunday. I'll admit there was 2 years where it wasn't my favorite Sunday, but and some of you, of course, can figure that out. That's when I was a missionary for that church. And when you're a missionary at Open Mic Sunday, it's just you going like this, just like, it's not normally like this. It's not normally like this. It's not normally like, just kidding. Who am I kidding? It's always kind of weird. It's always a little bit weird. You got to hang in there. It's always going to be weird, okay? But it was difficult doing that. And when I left to go be a missionary, we had a special farewell for me. And they said, you get to pick the hymns that the whole congregation is going to sing. And I was like, oh, that's a big responsibility. I don't want to mess that up. So I asked my dad, what hymns should we sing? And my dad goes, just whatever you want. Just don't pick the pirate hymn. And I was like, okay, I won't. But what? Please explain. Because I wasn't familiar with the fact that we had a pirate hymn. And hang with me, by the way, if you're like, I didn't come to listen to this guy doing hymn jokes. Listen, if I was a New York Jew, I'd be doing those jokes. But I live in jukebox. If I live in Utah, so this is what you get. But anyways, I didn't know we had a pirate hymn, right? And so I needed my dad to explain to me. I was like, what is the pirate hymn? And he goes, you know the one. It goes, ya da 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 da. And I was like, okay, it does sound piratey, but keep going. And he goes, ya da 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 da. And you're kind of like, you're feeling it. Like already, just very swashbuckly, whatever that is. You're like, I feel it in me swashbuckle. And I started to feel very piratey, and I'm not changing the tune, by the way. This is the tune of this hymn. For those of you who have not heard the pirate hymn, this is the tune, and then I made my dad sing the lyrics because I wasn't recognizing it off of the tune. And my dad said, I'll sing it, but I have to sing it in the key of pirate. And I said, please, sing on. And so my dad goes, okay, here's the hymn. It goes, who's on the Lord's side? Who? Now is the time you show. And you're like, which just the language alone to be like, now is the time you show. And like, who? Nobody talks like that other than pirates. Nobody goes, who's on the Lord's side? Who? Like you can hear an eye patch being like, who's on the Lord's side? Who? Is it ye? Like, there's just no way. It's not a pirate hymn. And then it goes into this yada da 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 yada da 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 da. At that point, sea spray is hitting you in the face, and you're like, "Am I on Pirates of the Caribbean?" There's no way. Just this music of who's on the Lord's side? Who? Ha 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 ha. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Who's on the Lord's side? You can hear it just going do 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 yeah dee 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 ha 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 ha. Are you on the Lord's side? And that's how you have to say it, by the way. You go, are you on the Lord's side? They go, the Lord? The Lord. The Lord? Did you mean the Lord? The Lord. He's on the starboard side. You'll see him. He's out there on the water. You know, it just seems right. My favorite part of the hymn, who's on the Lord's side? Who? It does this weird foghorn drop note where it goes, who? Everybody sings that. From the sopranos to the basses. You have an 80-year-old soprano next to you, and she goes, whoo. And you find yourself going, is that the way this is sung? That seems a little odd. And you look in the top, it says, sing pirately. And you go, arr, there it is. And so we sang that song because I was like, I'm shoving off, Father. We got to sing it. It just seemed right. It seemed fair. Oh. Hopefully you enjoyed that. It's a sad true story. All the stories are true. People go, "Is that really for reals?" Yes. I grew up with kind of a weird family. I think we all did. I mean, families are weird. We used to say something that I don't know if it's applicable during the pandemic. We used to say, "Families have the same germs." I don't know any other family that would say that, but here's the reason we would say it. So my dad did not like doing dishes. And so he would go into the kitchen when he would be like, "Do you kids want ice cream?" And we were like, "We do. We always do." "How could you? You don't even need to ask that, Dad. Just say ice cream and we'll be ready." But he would go into the kitchen, get 1 carton of ice cream and 1 spoon. There was 5 kids. And he would go and dip that 1 spoon in, and the oldest would open their mouth, and he would feed them. And then you'd go to the back of the line, and the next kid, and then just wait, and we'd finish a carton of ice cream. 5 kids, just like weird organized baby birds waiting our turn, loving that ice cream. And we would say, "Families have the same germs," which I've learned during the pandemic is not true. So they don't have the same germs. But families that share together only have to wash 1 spoon. So, it's kind of one of those things where you go, I don't know who wins, either one. I think the part of the pandemic that has been fun for me is that every time I catch a reflection of myself in the mirror and see myself wearing a mask, I have to do a Bane impression immediately. Are you guys past that point? I still haven't reached the point where I can't see myself in a mask and not be like, "Oh, I was born in the pandemic," right? Just, I wear this mask for you, the people. It's my favorite part of doing the mask thing, doing Bane impressions. So hopefully you're still doing those. How long have we been telling jokes, Idaho Falls? Did I time this? I'm supposed to not tell. Okay. Oh, good. We've been going good. Good little clip. 37 minutes, just to be. I don't know. I guess there's part of me that tries to be holistic on my health. Sorry, did I walk around? I probably lost focus. If I get too close, I get blurry. Is it? Maybe not. Maybe we'll see how fast this camera. My problem is that I do some holistic health stuff. Idaho Falls, you guys do too. I see your Melaleuca. You guys are into it, right? That's the hard thing, is when you try to do holistic health stuff, every friend that you own is like, "Try these oils." And you're like, "Gosh, I was trying canola this whole time. Should have been using yours." But it's like, what? There's some things that oils won't always fix. Like I had my appendix decide to explode one day, and not for lack of effort. I was like, lavender, 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 and it still didn't stop. And I know some of you are like, "Well, you should have tried frankincense then. You used the wrong one," or tea tree or whatever, the Melaleuca. I don't know. I needed to get it removed is the thing. But you don't know that. There's no check appendix light on your body. You have to figure it out. You have to go to WebMD or something like that and type in your symptoms. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, my ovaries. I had no idea. I'm in so much trouble. I didn't even know I had those, if I'm honest." But this is a weird day. I got a lot to figure out. I didn't think it was my ovaries. I thought it was indigestion is actually what I thought it was. I thought it was a burrito that I had eaten that was a bad burrito. And I already have a plan for that. If I eat a bad burrito, I do a maneuver. I call it the Pancha Via push-out. It's a simple maneuver. It's where you eat a second bigger burrito to push out your bad burrito, right? Just it makes sense, right? You go, "I gotta get this thing out of me fast. Double down on your Chipotle," right? Or whatever favorite burrito you have. I wish I knew a local burrito place. Sorry, local burrito places. I'll probably visit you after this. But anyways, support local. I ate a second bigger burrito. And obviously, if you do that maneuver, the Pancha Via push-out, you don't want to be far from home. You want to be close to home. Don't be a hero. Don't be wandering around with 2 burritos fighting in your stomach. No, that's not safe. You want to be close. And I wasn't close. I mentioned that I live in Salt Lake City. I was in New York City. It was way too far from my home. And I had to fly home that night. And my flight got delayed, which is what life does to you, right? When things are going bad, life will check in. And life will be like, hey, how's it going? And you'll be like, nah, it's not good. It's bad. And life will be like, check it out. What if I made it worse? And you're like, no, make it easier. Make it easier, life. And life's like, I'm going to make it worse. It'll be cool. You'll see. And so the flight got delayed. I didn't get off the plane until, I guess it was 2 a.m. in the morning. And I was just shuffling because I was in too much pain. Couldn't walk. Oh, I ate a burrito. Oh, and a second one. What a bad idea. But everybody getting off a plane at 2 a.m., they all shuffle, right? They're all like, oh, it's 2 a.m. Very tired. I hate you, Delta. And you see the other shufflers and you're like, oh, did you have a failed push out too? Follow me. Keep it clinched. Here we go. Do not risk it. We're not going to risk it. And you all shuffle off the plane. And I shuffled myself home and I tried to sleep and I couldn't sleep because I was in too much pain. And I realized I got to go to the hospital. You're in too much pain. Something's wrong. So I went out to the freeway, I-15, started checking billboards to see who has the shortest ER wait time. And I don't know, do you guys have those signs here? They're the dumbest signs in the world, where they're just like, what are you doing? Why would you do? Okay, sure. There's just some charge nurse somewhere that's like, how's room number 1? And they're like, they passed away. Fantastic. Our billboard's going to look great tonight. No wait whatsoever. Doesn't mean you have a good hospital. But anyways, went straight in though, drove around for 15 minutes, found a real short wait time. Got in and they did a scan of my body. And she goes, oh my gosh, it looks like you ate a little burrito and a bigger burrito. You're an idiot. And I was like, I actually went to medical. I practiced. And she's like, no, you didn't. I was like, no, I didn't. I just tell jokes. And she was like, you should also quit that. No, she didn't even say any of that. She said, it's your appendix. It's about to explode. We got to do emergency surgery. And I was like, oh, thank heavens. And she was like, thank heavens. And I said, I thought it was something else. And she was like, what'd you think it was? And I was like, none of your business. We're not that close. So they prepped me for this. Some of you have maybe had your appendix out. You've had it done laparoscopically is the way they did it for me, which is it throws you off because it goes against what I know about surgery, which is based off of the game Operation, which is where you reach in and grab the little thing that's the problem, and you don't touch the sides, right? Don't touch the sides. That's the bad part of Operation. So when they do laparoscopic surgery, they cut you over here, which threw me off because my appendix is over here. And they're like, we're just going to reach over there. And I was like, whoa, you're going to hit a lot of stuff. And my nose is going to be like, meh, 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 and that's going to be bad. And you won't get to collect your fee. And they said, no, we're actually going to inflate you so nothing is in the way. And I was like, that was not in the game. I'm not familiar with that. And so they said, well, we'll inflate you through your belly button, which I had no idea that there was just a inflate valve on the thing. When they said, we're going to inflate you through your belly button, I just pictured the doctor at my belly button with a straw and him just... and the surgical tech being like, you got to pinch it, otherwise the air doesn't go in. You got to, there you go, just like a pool toy. There you go. And my belly inflated. And they took my appendix out, and all was well. They told me, oh man, we got it. We got it right in the nick of time. It was about to burst. And I think there's reason in that, because everybody that I've talked to had appendectomies. Most of them all say, yeah, they told me it was about to burst. And they got it just right before. Which I go, that's so fortuitous. How amazing for them to just be able to. But I think they say that because it's your life, right? If it breaks, it could end your life, potentially. And they're about to give you a bill that's going to make you want to end your life. So, yeah, they say, we saved your life. Here's the bill. And you're like, oh, my life is so expensive. Okay. You could have just let me go. But thank you. Thank you for that. They were very nice. They gave me a good deal. They were nice. Let me tell you guys one more story, if that's okay, and then we'll all go to our separate ways, wherever that may be. Maybe you'll all go to get ice cream, because families have the same germs. You only have to get one spoon. It's not true. Don't spread it that way. I think that's how they say we're spraying it, or they just spray it, put it on the lawn. This is a story from when I was 15, though. When I was 15 years old, me and my dad, we used to go and visit these people once a month in their home for our church. We would visit them once a month in their home, and we got assigned to go visit these people who were hoarders. And we were supposed to check on them and just say, hey, how's it going? How you doing? How's your life? How's this? And give them a little inspirational church message. And that's a cute thing to do. But when they were hoarders, that adds a different layer, because you play some games when you visit hoarders, right? The first game you play is called How Long Can I Hold My Breath, right? You walk into a hoarder's home and you go, well, you're not going to make it if you breathe. So you hold your breath, and then you get into this weird debate with yourself, like, should I breathe through my nose or through my mouth, right? Do I want to smell it? Do I want to taste it? Which is worse? And then the second game that you would play is called What is a Chair? The hoarders loved that game. They would invite you to their home, and they'd be like, hey, welcome, have a seat. And you can see them just, you know that you're going to be looking around, just seeing piles of stuff and being like, what is a chair? And everything's like covered with bed sheets for some reason. Like, and you go, if I lift this bed sheet, will I find a chair? Will it be a chair? And I was always scared that it wouldn't be a chair, but it would just be like a stack of flat cats just piled high, like old National Geographics. Just like, this is Mittens from 92. He goes on the bottom. Like, oh no, it's the worst. And so we usually stood because it was too scary to play What is a Chair with these strangers. But my dad, he went for it. And he searched around and found one chair. Not two, but he found one. So he was pretty good at the game. But it left me stranded. And so I was kind of like, oh, what do I do? And he's like, Steve, don't be weird. Come on over here. Sit on your dad's knee. Sit on your dad's lap, you 15-year-old. Not weird at all. And I was like, it's pretty weird, Dad. It's a little weird. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea, but whatever, I did it. I'm very eager to please. So I was like, this is so stupid. I look like an idiot sitting on my dad's lap. And he could tell that I hated it. And so he bounced me just a little bit with his little knee bounce, just a little. And I was like, Dad, I'm not a baby. And he patted my back, and I burped, and I did feel better, I'll be honest. Then a cat that was not yet flat wanders through the rubble and hops up on my dad's other knee, the last seat in the house. And the kitty took it. Kitty is sitting on my dad's lap, and I'm on the other lap. And I just kind of like, what's happening now? And the cat promptly vomited on my dad's knee. Like, no respect of where we were. The cat, actually, I think the cat was like, you guys smell normal. I fixed it. I feel. And he just thought that was fine. And so did the hoarders, actually. They didn't even say anything that would remotely indicate that they were worried about their cat vomiting on us. They actually said, I'm sorry, that happens. To which we went, no, it doesn't. This is the first time I've been on my dad's lap and a cat has vomited. This is a rare situation. But apparently to them, they go, that happens. And when they didn't react, it kind of diffused the situation so quickly that my dad thought he could keep talking to them. He's like, oh, okay. And he tries to keep talking. But that's impossible because my dad is way too sensitive to bad smells. I mean, so am I. I'm his son, you know. I'm the guy that, do you remember back when we used to talk to each other close enough that you could smell their breath? Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's great, but sometimes it's not. And when it was not great, I hated that situation because I was always scared that they would breathe out right when I would breathe in and I would get inoculated with their bad breath. So I didn't want that to happen. So my solution was to blow out softly when they're talking to me. Did you guys ever do that? Remember that? When people would be like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, pretty good. Like, did you just blow in my face? No. Are you blowing on my face right now? No. Why would I do that? Oh, yeah, a little bit. why does your breath smell like flat cats? What's wrong with you? You just would feel the need. And so there we sit in the hoarder's home with cat barf on one knee, me on the other, a message in our hearts. And my dad decides he's going to share it. And he goes, the message this month is learning how to love one another. Excuse me. Just got a tickle in my throat. We learn how to love one another. And I knew my dad had caught a whiff of his knee and was starting his, and you could hear it just kind of, I'm fine. It's not a big deal. If we would learn to love one another, we'll be much better in a place where, and it shifted from being this weird, like, to, you can hear one is going down, one, whoa, even faking it feels a little strong. I don't like that. I don't know what it is. Ooh, that kind of got me. There's a thing. I don't know why. I don't know why there's a thing that whenever somebody does that, when we go, that you go like that too, right? Some of you might be feeling it right now. If you see another person go, we go, me too. I don't know. Here's my theory on that. Years ago, our ancestors, they were eating mastodon, right? And the first guy eating this cooked mastodon, he was like, this isn't very, it's not good. And the second guy was like, seems great to me. He ate the whole thing. Third guy, he barfed. He was like, when he saw the first guy, he was like, that doesn't look good. And so guess what? The second guy, he died. It was bad mastodon. Yeah, it wasn't cooked at all. No, it was awful. He died. So the gene for sympathetic vomiting was passed on. So now anytime anybody goes, we go for the tribe, and we all get sick together, and we survive as a species. So there we were having sympathetic gag reflexes, just I don't feel, and eventually I had to be like, Dad, you gotta stop bouncing me. I don't feel good. If you don't, this isn't gonna end dry. If you don't, you gotta stop. And my dad stopped bouncing me, and he starts elbowing me. And I know what that means, the elbow move. That means say the thing that you say at the end. Because these visits, you would always say at the end the same thing. Is there anything we can do to help you? Always at the end, never at the beginning, right? Because could you imagine if you said that at the beginning, what would happen, right? You would end up helping them. No, that is not what you're there for, right? You're not there to help them. You're there to annoy them in their home. And so you'd say it at the end when you'd already annoyed them and they wanted you to leave. And so you go, is there anything we can do to help you? And they'd be like, no, get out of here. And you'd be like, great. And I felt stupid saying it because I was 15. I had no skill set. I was like, anything I can do to help you? And they were like, do you need any Nintendo codes? I got some. And they're like, no, get out of here. And so we got shooed out of there, and we barfed in the street. And it was a fantastic time. I hope you guys have had a fantastic time and being good to each other. And yeah, thank you again for having me, and enjoy your night. Have a great one. See you guys.